Hello students. In my previous lecture, I explained you the second chapter of your class 7 syllabus, that is motion. That was the first part of motion. Now we will move on to the next part of motion, that is distance and displacement. Now what is distance? It is the length of the actual path traveled by your body. Alright. So what do you mean by the length of the actual path traveled by your body? Let us see that. Suppose you're starting from this point A and you're ending up at this point A. So the path which you're using to go from A to B, that will be your distance. Suppose you use a semicircular path to go from A to B. So the semicircular path is the distance of the object or you. Alright. So this is the distance traveled, basically the actual path. Suppose you are using this path to go from A to B, this kind of zigzag path you're using. So if you're using this kind of zigzag path, then this path is the distance covered. Alright. So this is distance, actual path traveled by the object. Now, when we talk about displacement, what is displacement? It is the shortest path between the path traveled by the object. All right. Let us take this very example only. Here you have one second. Yes, here you're starting from A and then you're ending at B. You're using, suppose, this path. So this is path 1, or you're using this another path. Suppose this is path 2. Alright, so path 1 and path 2 is your distance traveled. Whichever one you're using, that is your distance traveled. And what is displacement? It is the shortest path, or the shortest, basically if I say shortest distance, that would be the best thing to explain. It is the shortest distance between the path traveled by the object. So the shortest distance between this is this one. Alright. Whether you take this path or you take this path, you're going to start from here and you're going to end at B, right? So the shortest distance from A to B, that is the initial position to the final position. A is what? A is the initial position. Alright. Now what is B? B is the final position. Right? So the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position is called displacement. So one more definition you can give for displacement is that it is the distance between, it is the shortest distance. Okay, that would be the best way. Shortest distance between the initial and the final position. Alright. So now this is distance and displacement. Now in my last lecture, I explained you what is scalar quantity and vector quantity. So students, distance is a scalar quantity. It has only magnitude, okay, no direction. See, whether you're using this path or you're using this path, it depends only on the path, right? It doesn't depend on the direction. Whereas displacement, it has magnitude as well as direction. So this one is a vector quantity. If you don't understand scalar quantity and vector quantity, please go through my previous lecture. Alright. Now coming to the units. So distance, what is the unit of distance? It is the length of the actual path. So how do we measure length? We measure with the help of meter. Right? So the SI unit is meter, and same goes for the distance, because this is also the shortest distance. So the SI unit of meter is same. SI unit of distance is same, that is meter. Alright. Now let us move on to an example. This example will make all your concepts clear. Alright, we face difficulty in understanding distance and displacement with their definition. We can definitely understand it in a better way using an example. Now, an object moves from A to B. First of all, you can see here the directions are mentioned. So first, let me draw the directions. Okay. How do we draw the directions? Never eat sour watermelon. Okay, never eat sour watermelon. So north, east, south and west. What we are saying that it goes from A to P, that is 4 kilometer due west. So it's going like this, okay, towards the west. Okay, how many kilometer? 4 kilometer. And then from B to C, this is from A to B, and then from B to C due north. All right, so it is moving like this, B to C, 3 kilometer. All right, now find the distance and the displacement covered by the object. First, let me come to the distance. As I told you, what is distance? It is the total path traveled. So what is the path traveled? First it moved from A to B 4 kilometer, and then from B to C 3 kilometer. So this is the path taken by the object. So what will be the distance? AB plus BC. That will give you 4 plus 3. That is 7 kilometer. Alright. Now coming to the displacement part. For displacement, I told you it is the shortest distance between the initial and the final position. So if this is my initial position and this is my final position, the shortest distance between these two will be the hypotenuse to this right angle triangle. So AC, right? So how do you calculate AC? We all know Pythagoras theorem. AC square is equals to AB square plus BC square. So what will be AC? AC will be root over AB square plus BC square. That will give you root over AB is how much? 4. So 4 square plus 3 square. That will be 16 plus 9. That will be 25. So root over 25 is how much, kids? 5. So answer will be 5 kilometer. Is that clear to all of you? So the shortest distance between the 2 points is the displacement, and the actual path traveled by an object is the distance. Still, if you have any problem, you can mention it in the comment section. Okay, now let us see what are the differences between distance and displacement. So first, it is the length of the actual path traveled by the object in a certain time. It's the definition. We just did that. And it is the shortest path between the path traveled by the object, or better if you say it is the shortest distance. Okay. Point number 2, it depends on the path followed by the object. We clearly saw that it is depending on the path of the object, and displacement, it does not depend on the path of the object. As you can see, whatever path it takes, it is just the shortest distance between the 2 points. So it is not dependent on the path followed by the object. It is always positive because it is a scalar quantity. It doesn't have direction, so distances are always positive. Whereas displacement, because it is a vector quantity, it has a direction, so it can be positive, it can be negative, or 0. Okay. Now point number 4, it can be more than or equal to the magnitude of the displacement. Yes, distance can be more than, or it can be equal to the magnitude of the displacement, right? Whereas displacement, it can be less than, because it is the shortest distance, or equal to the distance. It can never be more than distance, because this is the shortest distance, right? And it is a scalar quantity, and this one is a vector quantity. So that's all about distance and displacement. Now we will enter into speed and velocity. Alright, have you ever heard the term speed and velocity? First, we will discuss about speed. Now, speed is the distance traveled by a body per unit time is known as speed. So, we write this at the formula distance traveled by time taken. Speed is equals to distance traveled by time taken. Now, there's a device which measures the speed of moving vehicle, which displays in cars and vehicles. You must have seen there's a speedometer which displays the speed of the moving vehicle. Whereas there is an odometer which displays the distance covered by the vehicle in meter. Okay. Now, kilometer, sorry. Now, distance, what is the SI unit of distance? We knew that it is meter. Okay. So, what is the SI unit of speed? So, we have just seen the formula that it is distance by time. Alright. So, distance SI unit is meter and the SI unit of time is second. So, this will turn into meter per second. Meter per second. Alright. Now let us see few examples. A car covers a distance of 210 kilometers. Students, you are in class 7 and I am going to teach you how you should do numerical, because it's a major concern for kids at your age and at your standard. So how you're going to do this to get full marks? First, write down the datas. So what are the datas given to you? Distance is given to you 210. We'll write distance is equals to 210 kilometer. In many books, they use the symbol D. Absolutely fine. Whatever you want to use, refer your book. Okay. So you can write D or you can write S. So 210 kilometer in 7 hours of time. So time is also given to you. What is it? 7 hours. All right. Calculate the speed. We know what is the formula for speed. It is distance by time. So distance is given to us 210 and time is given to us 7, right? So this will turn into 30 kilometer per hour. This is another unit of speed. Just like we have meter per second, that is the SI unit, and this one is another unit, that is kilometer per hour. Now coming to the next numerical. A train takes 4 hours to travel from Agra to Delhi. A train takes 4 hours to travel from Agra to Delhi. So first we are going to write down the time, that is 4 hours, with a uniform speed of 80 km per hour. So what is the uniform speed of the train? That is 80 km per hour. In many books, the speed is given by S. Fine, you can go with that. Find the distance between the two cities. So how can we find the distance? We know that speed is equals to distance by time. So distance will be speed into time. So speed into time. Alright. So speed is how much? 80 and time is 4. Alright. So this will give you how much? 320. And distance is always in kilometer. So answer will be 320 kilometer. So this is how we have to apply ourselves. Alright. Now let us move on to velocity. What is velocity? The velocity of a body is the distance traveled by a body in unit time and in a specified direction. If you see, the definition of speed was the distance traveled by a body per unit time. There was nothing mentioned about the direction, right? Because speed is what? Speed is what? It's a scalar quantity. So it does not have a direction. Whereas velocity is a vector quantity. So whenever you specify the velocity, you specify the magnitude of the velocity, which is same as the magnitude of the speed, and the direction of the velocity. Both. Okay. Why? Because it's a vector quantity. Again, I'm saying if you have issues understanding vector quantity, please refer to my previous video. If you still face an issue, please mention it in the comment section so that I can make a video separately on scalars and vectors. Okay. It can also be defined as displacement per unit time. So simply you can write it as displacement by time instead of distance by time. Speed is what? Distance by time, right? Whereas velocity is displacement by time. Why? Because displacement already has a direction in it. Okay. Now the SI unit of velocity is meter per second. Very obvious. The unit of distance is meter. The unit of time is second. So that gives us meter per second. If the distance is measured in kilometer and time is measured in hour, so it will give you kilometer per hour. Alright. So that's velocity. Now let us see the differences between speed and velocity. Speed, it is the distance traveled by a moving object in 1 second. That is the speed. Whereas over here, it is also the distance traveled by a moving object, but in a particular direction. So, okay, in 1 second, then that is the velocity. As I told you, it is a scalar quantity, whereas velocity is a vector quantity. And since it's a scalar quantity, it's always positive. Since it's a vector quantity, so suppose if the object is going from here to here with the speed of 4 meters per second. And now it is coming back in the opposite direction. So since the direction is reversed, so we will write it as minus 4 meters per second. So it can be positive, negative or 0. So now we'll come to acceleration. Have you ever heard the term acceleration before? Have you ever heard the term accelerator before? Every vehicle has an accelerator, right? And what does an accelerator do? It increases the speed of the car. When you want to increase the speed of the car, what do you use? We use accelerator, right? So basically, acceleration is defined as the rate of change of velocity. What it is defined as? The rate of change of velocity of a body. So how do we write acceleration? Acceleration is equals to, suppose the body is moving with an initial velocity u, and after some time t, it attains a velocity v. So this is the final velocity, right? What is this? This is the final velocity, and this is the initial velocity. Initial velocity. And how much time it took to go from initial velocity to final velocity? T time, right? So what we will write, change in velocity will be final velocity minus the initial velocity by the time taken. So this is your acceleration, okay? This is the formula, final velocity minus initial velocity by time. Now if you see the unit, how can you find the unit? Now v minus u, this is the speed, velocity. So this is meter per second and this one is second. So this becomes meter per second square. Alright, so the unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Now coming to negative acceleration. What is negative acceleration? Negative acceleration is called retardation. But what is negative acceleration? Now suppose the initial velocity of the body is starting moving with suppose 10 meter per second. Okay, and after a time t, it becomes time t, suppose 2 seconds, it becomes final velocity is 20 meter per second. Now if you want to calculate the acceleration, what will you do? V minus u by t. What is v? 20. What is u? 10. What is t? 2. So this will give you 10 by 2. That is 5 meter per second square. Alright, this is the acceleration. Now, suppose the body is moving with an initial velocity of 20 meter per second, and after time is equals to 2 seconds, the velocity reduces to 10 meter per second. In this case, if you calculate the acceleration, so acceleration is equals to v minus u by t. V is 10, u is 20 by 2. So what you will get? You will be getting a negative answer. You will be getting minus 5 meter per second square. So whenever acceleration is negative, we term it as retardation. We call it as retardation. Alright. Now coming to another topic. This topic is very, very important to understand and do numericals, because there are many numericals based on this topic. So equations of motion. Basically, here we have 3 equations of motion, and these 3 equations of motion can only be applied if the acceleration is uniform. Okay, that is why we can also call it as uniformly accelerated motion. Alright, so uniformly accelerated motion, if the motion is uniform, it is not changing, if the acceleration is constant, it is not changing with time, then in that case we can use these 3 equations. Now let us learn these 3 equations. What are these equations? Now you can see the first equation. The first equation, what is V standing for? V is your final velocity. Okay. What is u? U is your initial velocity. Okay. What is A? We all know A is nothing but acceleration. And then we have T. What is T? T is time. And then finally S. S denotes displacement or distance. Alright, so V is equals to U plus AT, first equation of motion. Second one is S is equals to UT plus half AT square. And the third one is V squared is equals to U squared plus 2AS. Alright, now let us do a few questions on these equations of motion. So first question, a car starts from rest and it's accelerated at the rate of 3 meter per second square. As I told you in the beginning of the class that we should know a proper way of solving the numerical. So first we need to write the data given to us in the question. A car starts from rest. That means the initial velocity of the car is 0. It's accelerated at the rate of 3 meter per second square. That means the acceleration is 3 meter per second square. For t is equals to 8 seconds. So t is equals to 8 seconds. What you have to find? You have to find v. So you have just write all the equations of motion so that you can identify which one you have to use. Okay. So here I write all the 3 equations of motion so that you get an idea which one you have to use. So u, a and t, and you have to find v. So it's very clear that we are going to use the first equation of motion. Alright. So yeah, place the values. U is equals to 0 plus a, that is 3 into t, that is 8. So that gives you 24 meter per second. I hope it's clear to you guys. If you're facing any problem, then you can please mention it in the comment section. Now question number 2, a body initially moving with a velocity of 0.5 meter per second. So please write down the initial velocity is 0.5 meter per second. Its velocity decreases at a rate of 0.05 meter per second square. Okay, so meter per second square, that means this is the acceleration and the acceleration is decreasing. So you have to write minus 0.05 meter per second square. Velocity decreases, that means the acceleration will be negative. Right now I taught you how much time will it take to stop. Okay, so the final velocity will be 0. How much time is going to take to stop? Let us see that. So v is equals to u plus 80. So u is given to us 0.5 and now this one will be given as minus 0.05 t. Alright, and v is how much? This is 0. Is it clear? Now what I'm going to do, I'm taking this to the right hand side, left hand side. So 0.05 t is equals to 0.5. So t, what will t come as? 0.5 by 0.05. If you want to replace the decimals, how we are going to do that? Decimals are gone now. 5 and 5 cancel. So answer will be 10 seconds. Is it clear to all of you? So let us move on to the third question. A body moves from rest. So u is 0 with uniform acceleration. So a is 5 meter per second square for t seconds. So t is equals to 10 seconds. How much distance will it cover? Question mark. So which formula are we going to use? V is equals to u plus at? No, because we need s. V square is equals to u square plus 2as. No, because we need v and s. So 2 unknown, not possible. So s is equals to ut plus half at square. Yes, we are going to use the third one. So s is equals to ut, that is 0 into t. So gone, half at square. Half a is how much? 5. T is 10 square. So here you go. How are you going to solve it? Just write it this way. We know this one, 5, 5, 25. So 250. Okay. So that will be your answer. Now coming to the last topic of the day, that is acceleration due to gravity. Now students, when an object is moving up or moving down, that means whenever there is a vertical motion, okay, then we write the equations of motion in this way. Okay, I'm explaining you this, don't worry about that. Suppose the body is coming downwards, okay, coming downwards. So it is falling under the acceleration due to gravity. So here A will be equal to G, right? So everywhere in the first equation we had V is equals to U plus AT. So at the place of A we are going to write G. Same way here we had S is equals to UT plus half AT square. So at the place of S, we are going to replace it with height because vertical motion. And then at the place of A, we are going to replace it with G. So H is equals to UT plus half GT square. And same goes for the third equation. Now if the body is going upwards, so it is moving against the gravity because the gravity acts downwards. It is going against the gravity. So A will be taken as minus G, negative, because against the gravity. Alright. So everywhere we had V is equals to U plus GT, right? So now we will write U minus GT. So this becomes U minus GT. This becomes UT minus half GT square. This becomes U square minus 2GH. Alright, so this is your the equations of motion for acceleration due to gravity. We'll solve one question from this topic. A stone is dropped freely. Always remember, whenever an object is dropped freely, the initial velocity of the object is 0. Okay, so we will write U is equals to 0. It takes 5 seconds to touch the surface of the river. So 5 seconds. Calculate the height of the bridge from the water level. You have to calculate the height. And G is given to you 9.8 meter per second square. Very simple. H nikalna hai. So UT plus half GT square. So just place the values into 5 square and then equate this and get the value of H. Is it clear to all of you? Now, to all of the students who is watching my video and all the parents, I would like to ask you to give feedback in the comment section so that I can help your child or help the students with the homework, right? My next lecture will be purely based on the homework, on the question answers of the chapter which is given at the back of the book. If you guys want me to continue my lecture in English, that's fine. But if you want me to switch my language to Hindi or a mixture of English and Hindi, please do mention it in the comment section because I'm making this video for your benefit. So if you want me to switch my language, I will do that. Alright, so just let me know whatever you feel in the comment section. Thanks a lot. All the best. Share my videos and do subscribe to my channel.